So now let's talk about the newest kind of load balancer called the Gateway Load Balancer. So it is used to deploy, scale, and manage a fleet of third-party network virtual appliances in AWS. And I will explain what that means in a second. So you would use a Gateway Load Balancer if you wanted to have all traffic of your network to go through a firewall that you have, or an intrusion detection and prevention system, so IDPS, or a deep packet inspection system, or you wanted to modify some payloads, but at the network level, okay? So let's have a look to make it very simple with a diagram. So say you have users, and these users are used to access your applications. Now we know that the users, for example, can access our applications directly using a load balancer, for example, an application load balancer, and then the traffic goes directly from the users to the ALB to the application. But what if you wanted all that network traffic to be inspected first before being sent to your application? You have actually deployed a bunch of third-party virtual appliances, for example, EC2 instances, that you want all traffic to go through before the traffic reaches your application. So to do so, it used to be very complicated, but now with the Gateway Load Balancer, it is actually very simple. So you're going to create a Gateway Load Balancer, and what's going to happen is that behind the scenes, the route tables have to be updated in your VPC. Now this is quite advanced and it's more on the networking side, but bear with me. So the route tables are modified. And now what happens is that all users' traffic first goes through a Gateway Load Balancer. And the Gateway Load Balancer will then spread that traffic across a target group of your virtual appliances. And so all the traffic will reach these appliances. Then the appliances will analyze the traffic, whatever they have to do. So for example, firewall, again, intrusion detection and so on. And then if they're happy with it, they can send it back to the Gateway Load Balancer. If they're not happy with it, they can just drop the traffic. For example, for a firewall, you would drop the traffic. But if it's accepted, then it goes through your Gateway Load Balancer again. And then the Gateway Load Balancer will forward the traffic all the way to your application. And for your application, this is transparent. The only thing that has happened now is that all the traffic has gone through the Gateway Load Balancer and your third-party virtual appliances for you to analyze all that network traffic and possibly drop it. So this is the power of the Gateway Load Balancer, is to analyze network traffic and so on. So how does that work? Well, the Gateway Load Balancer operates at a lower level than all the load balancers we've seen. This is layer 3, which is a network layer for IP packets. So what's going to happen is that your Gateway Load Balancer has two functions. The first one is a transparent network gateway, because all the traffic in your VPC will go through a single entry and a single exit, which is going to be your Gateway Load Balancer. And then is going to be a load balancer because it distributes that traffic across a set of virtual appliances in your target group. So this is basically what you need to remember about the Gateway Load Balancer. And finally, if you see on an exam that you want to use the Geneve protocol on port 6081, then again, this will be right away the Gateway Load Balancer. So hopefully this diagram makes sense. Now, what can be target groups for the Gateway Load Balancer? So this is your third-party appliances. They can either be EC2 instances, and you register them by instance ID, or they can be IP addresses. In that case, they must be private IPs. And for example, if you are running these virtual appliances on your own network, on your own data center, then you can register them by IP manually. So that's it for the Gateway Load Balancer. It is extremely difficult to do a hands-on on it, so I will skip one, okay? But just so you know, again, the most important thing to remember is that one diagram on the right-hand side. If you understand this diagram, you understand Gateway Load Balancers, and I don't think any deep dive question will be asked on it, just at a high level, what it means and how it works, okay? So that's it. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next lecture.